Yeah, microphone check, disrupt, TV, let's go.
Mbako, 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 ina mbako, 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 unuweze mbako, mbako, ina mbako, mbako, unuweze mbako.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Mubako the Cave. This is another episode of season 2, and as usual, I am with my man
Jasper, and I'm smiling, right?
Jasper. There's a
You know,
reason. There's a reason why you're smiling.
I am
and we
smiling,
all know
man.
that reason.
Because you know what I was expecting this day
Yeah, we all know.
to have a lady in the cave.
Yes.
Yeah, that's me.
The first lady in the cave.
First lady.
Oh, okay. That's actually something else. First lady.
First lady.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll always remember you.
We'll always
of
remember.
course. And I'll make sure when I
Yeah.
give you one more first. Yeah.
So we need to actually have a board of what you call them? Autographs.
Like a wall of
signatures.
fame.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
it's
actually
your
gonna do that.
first.
Just have a picture and everything. See how it goes.
That's true.
Wow.
Today I'm just being Ronald.
Oh, you're just being run
Yeah,
off.
this is not my show. I need to make sure Jasper and
Oh.
Matate
Okay.
get to talk. Because Jasper's got a lot of questions.
Okay.
Oh, I have a lot of questions.
A lot of questions.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Just put me on the board.
Yeah.
Make me the captain.
So you can take over.
All right. So today we are excited to have Mantate.
Yeah, I'm excited too.
Exactly, Mantate. Please help me.
It's Mantate.
Yeah, help me spell your surname very well.
Okay.
Okay, so my surname is MLOTSHWA.
Okay. Yes. W-A.
Yeah.
And how do you pronounce it?
It's Mlojwa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you pronounce it?
I won't even try.
All
I
right.
won't even try.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So I'll just do a paraphrased
Okay.
introduction. So Mantate, yeah, you know the surname, is a 24-year-old young lady, and she's passionate about the role of women and youth in democracy and governance processes. Mhm. She's a passionate writer. She speaks. She's an she does a lot of African inspired fashion. I'm actually interested to know that. But there's one thing that I really liked when I was checking your profiles. The name and the term radical. That's what I really want to ask a lot today. Like radical.
We want to know
Where
about
did it come
Exactly.
from?
Where does it come from?
Radical.
Like radical. Like, did people call you radical when you were a kid, or did people, like people that associate with you, do they see the radicalness in you?
Yeah, so it actually didn't happen when I was young. It started when my opinion was more out there. I've always been one to say what I think, especially when it comes to the politics of our country, the economy in our country, the social status of our people.
Yeah.
I don't sugarcoat my words. I don't have the energy for it. So you discover that in Zim, freedom of expression hasn't always been that, accessible to everybody. So when people see you speak out all the time, there's always that question, aren't you scared? Like, why are you so radical?
Exactly.
So it
Wow.
became a thing. People associated me with the honest expression around.
That's good.
And I used to have a blog, actually. Eventually, I had a blog called The Radical Mandate,
Okay, interesting.
where I was just giving an opinion and things that I felt mattered to me in the communities that I come from. So
Wow.
I ended up adopting the name because I felt like I'm building a brand, and this is the brand that people have started to deduct from
Okay.
what I'm giving them. So I'm like, it's okay because it represents what I stand for. So let me just ride with it.
Nice,
and then,
nice.
yeah.
So when did you start this blog? When?
It's been a while. I first started blogging in 2017 or something like that.
Okay, that's
But then
good.
I was very lazy. That's the problem, especially with my blog. I would, because I was writing on issues that are important. Like
Okay.
I remember the first post was on the issue of how I don't understand how people would say someone would rate because they were dressed a certain way. So that was my first blog, and then I wrote about the biometric voter registration. So I was
Okay.
writing around different issues, but
Exactly.
I didn't write very often. But now I changed. I have a new blog now.
Yeah,
This one is more, but it's fiction based.
it's fiction based.
Yeah, I'm bringing the experiences of people, but from a a perspective of this is just fiction, but people experience it.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that one because I'm
That's
more
good.
consistent.
What's the name of the blog?
It's called Radites. So it's a match of radical right. So it's still
Okay.
radical,
Okay.
but giving it that
Radites.
extra
Nice.
Radites.
Very smart.
RADIG.
TES.com. Yeah.
So there's
Okay.
an element of rights in it.
Yeah, so it's radical right. So it's still the opinions of Mandate, but I've decided to take a fiction approach because people are more comfortable with the idea that it's not real experience.
Exactly.
But a lot of them resonate because some of the stories I've written, people have come in and said, "Oh my God, I
resonate.
relate to this."
Exactly.
Yeah, which for me is basically what I want. I want to be able to bring in experiences, even those ones that we don't want to talk about ourselves. So let me bring it in for you. So, yeah.
Nice. So have you always loved writing
Mm-hmm.
at a tender age? Like when did you realize I want to write and also realize that I want to stand for politics?
Yeah, so when I was in school, like secondary school, I loved essays, like for English literature.
Wow.
And one of my literature teachers, what she used to do was for every big word you put on your essay, there was that double tick to it. It's bravo, because you'd write an essay and there's like 20 of those, and then you'd get like 28 out of 30. I loved English. For me, and reading as well. I used to read walking in the streets and the combi. I was obsessed. So I think it was a way of speaking. You just talk about things that you wouldn't ordinarily talk to someone about in a
Definitely.
conversation. And then I remember when I was in Form 2 going to Form 3, there was this essay competition. It was run by Nango on Sustainable Development Goals.
Okay.
Yeah, but at that time it was Millennium Development Goals. So it was an A levels competition, but I was like, let me try it out. So
And you were in Form 3?
Yeah, I was Form 2 going to Form 3 because I submitted in November when I was in Form 2.
Wow.
And then the results came out in March the next year, and I wrote about, it was equality.
Okay.
Yeah, I wrote about gender equality, and I was talking about women like Joyce Mujuru and Nicola Grace, who was my senior at the school, and other women that I felt were modeling what I felt was female leadership. And it was third best in Zem, and I was the only junior in it. So that's when I realized that when I speak about issues that matter, my voice makes sense. It doesn't matter how young I am. So as I was growing through high school into junior parliament debate and public speaking, it naturally becomes, this is my space. I feel comfortable highlighting the issues affecting my people. And
Hold on. So we have an honorable in the house.
yeah,
it's an honorable.
ex-honorable.
Oh, you're still an honorable.
Yeah.
Okay.
And MP's always been MP.
Yeah.
Honorable.
We were like junior members of
Did you have
parliament.
a portfolio?
Not really. I was more focused. I was secretary to the child president at the time. My focus really was about working with the child. He was my friend as well, and he was from my community. So my idea was, how do I work with him to make sure we get the bill? Because people are asking me, why didn't you run for president? Those type of things, because they expect, because you're like vocal and all that. But then one of the things I had at that time was the child president was a guy, and we really supported him to get the vote.
Yeah.
Because for me, leadership is always, it's not really about a woman or a man. Primarily, it's about someone that can represent the interests of both. So if we get a man that can do that for us, I feel like we would be willing to support it. But the reason why we're constantly fighting for women to be in the spaces, or little girls to get these opportunities, is because their voices are not there.
That's good.
There's people that come in, they don't represent these issues. So we're like, we need more women in the space so that we can see how they model, like inclusion when it comes to policy and all this. So yeah, it is great. I had fun, trust me. I traveled, we met the presidents, the ministers. It was really great. As a child, that was like a dream. So
Okay. Mantati, you're a hero.
okay.
I'm going to put you on the spot right now.
Okay.
Pariah State.
Oh yeah.
That tweet.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh
That
yes.
tweet. That tweet was like,
Oh yeah.
that's a famous tweet.
Yeah.
That made a hit. What you say?
What happened?
Okay, so yeah, it was in February. I think it was Sunday, February 16. Yeah, something like that. So I was just having milkshakes with my girlfriend. She's in the civic space, so we're just having conversations about the work that we're doing and things like that. So I think we got there around 2:00, and then we're about to leave just before 6, and there was this guy who was sitting with his friend like older guy and all that. So there's a waitress, it's a she. So when she passed this guy, he grabbed her. You know, when you just grab someone into, and then she just wanted to pull out. For me, it was that I want to pull out, say, I'm not okay with this.
Was this guy a regular?
I don't know because I don't frequent the place.
Okay.
Yeah, at that time I didn't know, but it turns out he is.
Okay.
So when that happens, I don't take lightly things that I feel affect women or things that I see affecting other women. So I called the lady and I asked her, "Are you okay with the way he handled you?" And she said, "I'm not." I'm like, "Why aren't you saying something?" She's like, "I know, it's fine." So the first thing I was thinking, okay, it's my workplace, so I kind of can't say it because he's a customer or something like that. So I got to the guy. My intention was to initially just have a conversation with him about how wrong I feel that was and the need for him to apologize because it was wrong. So I got to the guy and I tell him that what you just did is wrong. She's not comfortable with that, and it actually amounts to harassment. And then he says to me, "I do this all the time. I don't see where it's wrong."
Okay.
That pissed me off.
Definitely should have.
Because it was this arrogance that I get away with it. So why should I stop? So I felt like the morality or the right and wrong of this for you is based on how frequently you do it. And that's a problem for me. So then he wasn't listening to me. So I told him that, it's okay. I will use social media to find your identity and you will still apologize because that was important for me. And he didn't think I'd do it.
Okay.
So I took a few pictures. Thank God he looked at my camera and
He did a Norman Tati.
yeah. So I don't think he felt I was gonna do anything about it. But it really it had me a lot because I'm a young woman.
Yeah.
It can be me. It can be anyone. If
Exactly.
I can't stand for another girl, someone will not bother standing for me. I won't even be able to stand for myself. So when we left, his friend was outside on a call.
Okay.
And we told him that we're going to make sure we find this guy's identity and he will apologize. And the friend was saying, "No, I apologize for him. I've also worked in the industry." He talked about an experience in Kariba where he was saying those things and he knows it's wrong. And I was like, it's not your place to apologize for this guy. I wanted it to come from him to say, okay, I apologize if it comes out wrong, it's wrong. But the fact that he doesn't feel it's wrong. And then the friend tried apologizing. I wasn't getting any of it. So I went home and then I told a few people in my groups and circles that this is something that happened. I want to amplify it because for me, it's about how many other places is this happening and we're not doing anything about it. And this whole idea of go to Paraya, go through the role, I don't know, the HR process of reporting. So before I posted, I actually sent a message to one of the managers at Paraya to say, this is what I'm doing. And for me, it wasn't really about, I want to do this. I was telling them, this is what I'm going to do. While I'm doing it, you guys figure out as well what you're going to do. And that's how the post went out. I didn't expect it to go viral like that.
What do you expect with social media?
I know, but I mean, it went crazy. Not lie.
Did you get any threats though? Like
not really. I didn't get. It was just from people randomly. Social media people. Yeah. Especially on Twitter. A lot of people felt like I fabricated it. Someone would say that, "What do you have against this guy?" Or I remember there's this guy. It was some crazy account with 6 followers. He says, "This is gonna be the biggest defamation case of the year.
Okay.
You're gonna be arrested for all this." And I was like, why are you so keen on protecting a guy you don't know did or did not do this, and not so much about the girl that could have been, So a lot of it came from that. And I was really worried because a lot of people told me he's got money, he's got this, so he's gonna
connections.
So whenever I was working, I was like, God, he better not do but then I think for me, that's when I realized that at the end of the day, now I don't care. Because someone's going to do it. If we continue accepting this, that's how society ends up thinking it's okay. That's how men are. I don't take that. We need to, because I'm going to have a child one day. It might be a daughter. I have cousins that are growing up. I don't want them to experience this kind of stuff and think it's okay because it's my job. I need to protect, the customer. If I'm not okay with it, So I've always been waiting for that day when you call it like, "Hey sis, you're under arrest," and I got a call from the lawyers at some point just before COVID-19.
Okay.
So I got a call from a lawyer and he was saying that he had been contacted by those guys and they wanted to have a discussion with me before they decide to jump into the legal side of things. And so the discussion really I cannot say
Yeah,
because
of course.
our conversation, because COVID happened, we haven't managed to go through with it.
Okay.
But then after the whole process, I felt more bold because it was affirming what I saw, and whatever else that's explained around it, or whatever else they feel I didn't get right or should, apologize for, I will deal with it, and I'm really ready to deal with it. I think we need to stop being soft around issues like murder. If you look at South Africa and the number of women that are said to be killed by boyfriend, ex, whatever, it's not okay. So if we can try and limit it in the best way we can, why not?
We at Mubako the Cave, we do not support such
No, we don't.
because
We don't.
we try to encourage men to be loving and to be respectful
And to protect their
and
family.
to protect. Yeah,
Exactly. So, like, this reminds me of what happened in America, the Me Too movement.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of ladies are not standing up, and their voices are not heard. You mentioned something to do with the voices and inclusion. Do you think that is the reason why a lot of women are now forming organizations, and those organizations, a lot of men will feel like they are what do we call it? They won't be comfortable to go and approach you because they think it's feministic, it's like threatening and all of that. Yeah. So do you think that, like, because if I think of women doing women rights and all that, I just think it's feminism and So do you think those platforms are there for raising voices and inclusion?
Yeah, definitely. I think like what you're saying, that a lot of women don't come out. I retweeted something yesterday on Twitter. There's a lady in South Africa was beaten up by the boyfriend. She looked like she did this video looking, you could see. And she's saying that you can beat him all you want, but I've decided I'm not pressing charges. I'm okay. She says, I feel right about this. He made an honest mistake and all those things. And first, when I was listening to it, I was angry because in my mind I'm thinking this is how the world doesn't take us seriously, because we're so comfortable, defending these people. But then I got to realize that no, I actually shouldn't be angry at her. There are dynamics to this. Number one, it could be intimidation.
Okay.
You could have made her think, there's people that make you think that somehow you deserved it. You triggered it. You made me feel angry. So
Exactly.
yeah. So eventually I just told myself that I hope she finds help, because it like a lot of people in the comments were saying, it feels like a cry for help. Like, beat him up if you want to, but I'm not gonna press charges. There was that emphasis, do something. But I don't know, I feel like there's this trauma. I always tell people that when it comes to abuse, you don't know how each victim responds.
Exactly.
So there's no set reaction. So we shouldn't think, oh, okay, you're protect. She might not be. There's so much attached to it. So that is the biggest problem we have, where a lot of our girls are saying this on social media and thinking maybe he made an honest mistake. That's bull.
An honest mistake. That's not honest.
Yeah, that's crazy. But anyway, I feel like women's organizations, and also there's some men that are leading organizations that are seeking to amplify the voices and rights of women. Yeah,
exactly.
I think the idea is we are seeing a problem. We can't talk about the same statistics forever, and we need to sensitize communities. Like the issue of you need to report when this happens. Where do you report when this happens? What kind of services can you access when you're raped, when you are harassed by some guy, or when someone tells you for you to get a job, you need to sleep with me, things like that.
Yeah, those
so
things.
I think these organizations are coming in to bridge that gap, where they are teaching society about, the different forms of oppression. And honestly, in as much as I'm I'm about women 99% of my life.
Yeah.
But then also I'm just realizing that women can be perpetrators as well.
Yeah.
So it's really just about fixing the problem in society, not so much about, because men feel sometimes that feminism is an attack on
ego.
I think you're not getting into what you want to talk about. So my question before you continue: are you a feminist?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just an ordinary guy,
Okay.
right? I really need to understand what feminism is.
Okay.
So can you help me
Understand.
just break it down? Because my understanding is like you are women who don't want to be ruled by men.
I don't need a man in my life.
I don't need a man in my life.
That's a
Okay.
statement I hear a lot.
That's my understanding
Yeah.
as an ordinary guy.
Exactly.
To the point that when I hear the word feminism or a feminist, it's not a good thing.
Have you seen, even on TV or social media, feminists, like very strong feminists that are married mothers?
I would lie.
Out
Oh.
loud. I think we can introduce that in the second segment,
Okay.
where she really tells us and we get to know. But for me, I've seen one or two. I think
I know of
I know-
single mothers.
okay. I know Oprah
That's
Winfrey.
it.
No,
Oh, and that's it. Okay. Yeah.
Answer.
No, I think one of the things this is one of those. I think number one, just to demystify the idea that feminism really is about women that can do without men and that don't want to be ruled by men and all those things. I would say it's not true, at least for the one that I stand for by definition, because I always try to give the dictionary definition before I give mine, because there's also mandatis that's also contextual, right? So feminism, according to the dictionary, looks at advocating for the rights of women, on the premise that the sexes should be equal. And I think that equality is where people lose it. We fail to maybe explain ourselves, or the men choose not to get it, and other women too, because there are some that are not pro-feminism. So for me, my experience of equality, or my idea of equality, because I really want that too, is really about, I don't want as a woman to grow into this prescript of what I should or should not be. We were raised in a society that says this is for women, this is for men, which was problematic because there were women like us who are bold, who will speak, that want to be in governance or that want to influence politics even from a sideline. And when you're that kind of woman, people are not so comfortable around you because you're stepping into a space that say to be, this is politics used to be a men's play, men's game, things like that.
Definitely.
So I think when we're looking at equality, we're looking at the idea that both sexes can be given the space to find themselves. God created men and women, right? He gave us all these gifts that we're finding as we're growing. I don't want to stop at some point because I was told by society that at this point I stopped being a woman. My question is, what am I becoming? Right. Number one. The other thing is, there's this misconception that we're trying to grow into men, like we're trying to be men.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to be a man.
Okay.
I want to be
That's
the.
actually a great question.
Yeah, I don't like. We don't. Okay, personally, I don't want to be you. I want to be mandate.
Okay.
If in becoming mandate, I break into spaces that are normally masculine. Well, touche. I'm there now. I'm not being a man. I'm just finding my full potential.
Okay.
That's why even like now we've got more girls coming into like the STEM space, science and all those things.
Yeah.
It's part of that process where we're saying, if girls can do it, don't stop them because they are a girl or whatever. Stop them because it's not, actually don't stop them. Why are you to stop people? Let people fully become. So feminism for me is about access, full access and equal access to opportunities, where as a woman you can be president, not through some quota that says after 5 years we will have a woman, or because the man is, president, a woman can be second vice president. I feel like in as much as that works to bring women in those spaces, it becomes very unfair because it assumes that we cannot compete at that level.
All right.
So feminism from my end is really about ensuring that women find their voices, women find their space in different sectors.
That's
and
good.
It should still be okay and
That's
not
good.
make you feel like
Yeah.
you're no longer a man. I mean,
So I'm going to cut you here. I
okay.
think we're going to go on the second segment.
Okay.
And you're going to go into detail about
Okay.
what feminism is.
All right.
So we'll be right back in the second segment, and your captain signing out.
Yeah. Microphone check. Disrupt TV. Let's go.
Mbako, mbako,